Hello! Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is January 5th, 2019. Yep, this is our 99th episode. Let's just raise the roof a little bit here, Joe. We've been going on for forever.
We're old now.
Well, I mean, like, it's what, like 2 years of the show?
Yes, I was making a bad joke.
From our very humble beginnings.
Very humble.
Anyway, well, let's just dive in today because we're not quite at 100 yet, so no, like, celebrating before things get started. Today's a pretty light docket. We have the Time Heist RPG we're going to talk about, Munchkin Unicorn and Friends, Party Bugs, and Noctiluca has been announced by Z-Man Games. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we'll go into our regular segments, deeper discussion, Kickstarter Korner, our week in tabletop, and consult the table. Hey, why don't we start with, of course, Time Heist?
I shake my fist.
Why?
You know why.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look, just because a couple of times I did the docket in somewhere that.
Oh no, not that.
Oh,
not that. The time period and everything that it's based on. You know why.
Oh, yeah. Yup. I forgot there for a second. Yeah. But anyway. Wow, like, this double-clicking mouse is, like, making it much harder than it needs to be to, set up the image for people to see. Oh, God. So, anyway, Time Heist. Why don't you lead it for a second while I try to, like, and suffer in trying to get this set up? Since it sounds like I actually finally perhaps need to, like, figure out if I need a new mouse or not. Or if it's just the dying battery that's causing me to suffer.
Yes. So it's a new role-playing game that takes place in the 1920s, and it's a gang-based game. Much to my chagrin, because I'm still working on mine.
Well, this one is more time-based? I mean...
I haven't gotten the book through the whole thing. It says it uses... Time Heist uses a timeline. This helps the GM...
Well, they also
order
say
the events are consistent with player characters.
It is Prohibition-era gangsters, but it's supposed to be the first of 12 games, and this is supposed to be also involve a time machine. So I guess you're time travelers going in and taking care of this kind of thing.
That makes me feel slightly better.
Because yours is more, like, fantasy
just in that time period.
Yeah, with a little bit of fantasy / supernatural / sci-fi added in for various elements.
Yes.
I would almost call it like for Wild West, it's like the weird and Wild West. It's the weird and wild rage, mob rules Prohibition era. So I guess like this one, it's like it is Back to the Future-y, but still
to the future.
They are creating 12 games. They have ways you can support them, and they are offering this first one for free. They have things like Patreon and stuff to help them out, at Epic Loot Solo to keep working on this material, and social media for doing it. But like the main 28-page book, you can just get it at this point in time.
Right.
So that's good. That's nice that they're offering it that way, and I guess maybe they have enough support otherwise to keep them going. I mean, you are technically in a gang in I think they're aiming for it's their Chicago ganging it too, so they do focus a lot on the traits, that aspect of it, even though you are time travelers. I mean, it's sort of an interesting thing.
Yeah, it seems interesting. Like, it also, the GM is the big G.
Yes. And the object is to like not you can like do things like create paradoxes, which do problems, but you can create them because I guess there's the aspect of time travel in its aspects. And it is, I guess, as heist based too. So I'm not even sure, like, just by a quick, because of the quick once over I've had, the point of time traveling heist. I feel like maybe it's left up to the big cheese, aka the GM, to figure that out. Or, yeah, maybe. Because, like,
possibly.
Looking through it again, I don't really see like story per se added into this of like why you're time travelers and all this stuff. Why? I mean, really,
why not?
It's like you're time traveling. Are you time travelers that are becoming gangsters, or are you time traveling gangsters that are in some kind of heist? And I think that's also a little different than, like, let's say, like, you've been working on your game, and it's a good thing it's different because this is focusing more on the heist aspect of the criminal enterprise.
Right.
It's not to say that yours couldn't, but yours was more about being a member of the mob, I feel like, most of the time. That was the essence I got. It's more... like you could be an enforcer, you could be a person doing a heist, you could be a lot more roles to it, and
also I have a lot of other races in it too.
Yes, you have things that they are very different games, for one thing. But
I know it was just like,
yeah, because it's like yours was a unique game that wasn't being filled into a large. It was an area that didn't have really anything filling into it, and now there is at least something else in that era that could be compared to at this point in time.
Right.
Yes. Oh. Yeah. This seems interesting because of the entire aspect of the time travel to your game. But I don't know how well it really would work. Yeah. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be down for trying it at very least, since it is offered for free at this point in time, and just figuring out some kind of simple little adventure or something. Keep it easy.
Right.
But I feel like there's already some time travel aspect. Like, time travel games exist already. RPGs, I think there's a couple. But it's like, when I like think about this, I don't know how much it's setting itself apart that makes me say, hey, let's do this. But again, I also might be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Biased, because I have played an earlier, like an alpha iteration of your RPG, which is a mob game. So,
yeah.
So it's like maybe in this case, it's the one case where I might be a little biased because I've experienced that type of game and other people might not have.
True.
Yeah.
I still think it looks interesting. I would still try it. I love that time period, so hence why I created a game in it. And with the time travel aspect, it does make it different enough that it's like, okay, I can see trying this.
Okay. And it is interesting that it's all about, because you've got a time machine that only basically takes you within an hour kind of clip, because the time machine is the clipper, as they call it, and it's trying to manipulate everything within an hour time once you activate it.
Okay, so like if you made a mistake or something, you could try to travel back and stop it.
But that's where like the paradox can occur, because you don't always end up where exactly you want to go, it says.
Right.
So you then might have you'll go back in time, let's say, like, back to the beginning of that hour, and your other selves are somewhere else, you know? And you might want to, you want to somehow not maybe try to create a paradox and interfere with them, but you also want to, do things differently, and, it's... Yes. Yeah, and, they go by 5-minute points where you can go to. So it's within your hour, you have 13 points you can kind of go back to.
Okay.
One of them would be exactly where you are probably at the end of it. Or, I don't know if this would be going back in time into that time frame after it's done, or while you're in it. There's still some questions that I think I would have to read very in depth into this about.
Right.
And I think that's the only thing I have to say about it. Otherwise, it does seem relatively simple, pretty easy. It's a 6-sided dice system, 3 stats. They don't really have a damage system. They have that, you get injured or you're not kind of thing. So there's some good simplicity to the system, which is not necessarily bad, but it also means it's a system you can't really dive in depth about. It's going to be about the backstory you write for yourself a lot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because you're either alive, unconscious but not dead, or dead in this game. No hit points. Yep.
Okay.
And apparently, what is this like? If a character is rescued from death, 5 paradox points are added to the paradox pool. You've seriously altered the continuum, so you can go back and, save someone with your friends.
Oh, God. Security card shot him. Okay, hold on.
Which the paradox pool is what, I guess the DM, GM, could use to mess around with people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In that way, it kind of makes me think a little bit of Mage.
Oh, okay. And the 5 paradox points, which you get for bringing someone back from the dead, can be used to do anything. It doesn't have to make sense. Aliens can invade. Hitler can be president of North America. The clipper can now clip to 20,000 BC. Whatever the GM feels is appropriate.
Oh, God, no. The clipper only clips to 20,000 BC.
Well, yours... Well, I don't know if you could go back to when you came from then. Maybe you can. Maybe
it might break the clipper.
I don't know, yeah. But yeah, so apparently that's where you earn the most paradox points.
The clipper takes you to another dimension where you don't exist.
Otherwise, if you manage to overlap, I think you create 1.
Right.
That's sort of because they describe it as you have spans of time that you exist within the story, and if they overlap in a way, then you're creating a paradox because you're interfering with your own history in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, it's got a very interesting idea that you do want to use the time travel for your heist, but you then also have to worry about, not overlapping with yourself and not doing stuff that would be noticed by yourselves or something like that. It's very interesting, because then you could just mess everything up.
I do think it's 2 things I could also appreciate that they did that I've incorporated in mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Was one, they have a help naming your gangster, which I think is cool.
Yes.
And if you at the very end of the document, if you serve drinks at your table, it has drink suggestions of the appropriate era, mm-hmm. and their names and how to create them.
Okay, so, and it does sound like, from checking a little bit more, that you are playing basically, you're a Chicago Prohibition gangster, and you just got a time machine.
Yeah.
It's what the hell are you going to do with it?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get such machine is what I'm curious about.
Maybe another time traveler just accidentally left it behind or something. The thing is, it's a jank-ass time machine, It's it only like it locks you into an hour worth of time travel kind of thing, and a time span. So, I don't know. I feel like it would be interesting to try out and interesting to dive a little deeper into to experiment with it. And I think the thing that's most interesting about it is the time travel system.
Yes.
And,
I do think that's interesting, and the paradox.
Yeah, and trying to like balance the two of those things out and figuring it out. It's a game where you actually have to keep track of like when and where people are like every time they go back before they go back in time again.
Right. Well, one of the things I think is interesting too, like if you wanted to make it more of a fanciful game, you could do that with paradox.
Yeah, that's true.
You could add in elements, or hey, okay, well, you use the machine again, and paradox happens, and now you're back in Rome.
Yeah.
During the Roman Empire, and the machine's out of commission for X amount of time.
And the thing is, like, because this is meant to be like one session adventures almost. It sounds like it's written as. It's one session heists. So you're supposed to get like 2 to 4 hours for traditional writing for it. I'm sure you could link together something to make more of a campaign, but they don't really talk about it a lot. So I'd be interested to see, again, because this is the first of 12 games they're creating and they're planning on making out in 2019. The company.
It might be, It also might, they might expand upon it if it's popular enough.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, Epic Loot Solo. It has Time Heist. It is out now. It is free, so you can just pick up Time Heist for free right now. Check it out. All right. Double clicking. Let's move on. Let's talk Munchkin. I mean, it's like there's always a point in the day that it has to occur once they have something that seems weird and talkable. And I mean, this one seems weird and talkable.
Yet another Kickstarter for Munchkin.
So they did kickstart this one. I think we might have mentioned it before when it was kickstarted, and it's out now.
Yeah, it is on their site for Munchkin Unicorns and Friends for $26.95.
Yeah, because I was checking their site, and I saw, like, because I always check Steve Jackson's new releases. I don't know, back from when I actually, like, felt like they had they filled me with joy or something. I started checking them when I'm checking to see what schedule for us to talk about, and I still talk about it.
And Harry Potter Munchkin.
God.
Deluxe.
Anyway. It's... So, yeah, this is an odd one because I remember this a little bit, that they mixed in with unicorns, undead, and cows.
Yes, which is weird.
Yes. It's got a box of...
Cowercorn.
It's got boxes of holding. Great. That's actually really nice because that's one of those things that you have to buy on your own, and it sucks. Because, like, most of my Munchkin, when I kind of combined it, they ended up in business card boxes. Because I could get a hold of some of those. I think I have, like, one of those boxes of holding, which are very nice. They're a little more sturdy and a little more, like, staying together. But easy access to them? Meh. I mean, that's...
I still think I remember a Munchkin Unicorn, like, small pack at some point.
Oh, there probably could have been.
I'm looking through their store right now, but I'm not seeing it. But for some reason, it sticks in my head that there was.
There very well might have been. I don't see it, but it could have been like...
It could have been something that was out a long time ago and it's no longer in print.
Well, like, just, like, Google searching it, I don't see anything about a Munchkin Unicorn. The thing is, it might not have been unicorns on its own, so it could have been called something else, and just had unicorns in it, and we saw it. Like, it could have, like, more displayed it. And that's the problem, is then we don't know where to go about looking that up, then. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But... weird combination of stuff.
Yeah. I feel like it sounds like what they did is they basically made 3 smaller mini expansions into one expansion for unicorns, undeads, and cows.
They made 61,000 over their goal.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I know, it's just like
God. So apparently, like, the entire concept of this is, like, someone had, like, said, hey, I've had, like, this challenge for cooking that, like, name 3 ingredients and you can cook something out of it. I've heard about it. Let's do that for Munchkins! And it's unicorns, cows, and undead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. They have
I'm looking at some of the cards. They have a narwhal, yes.
Noctiluca, which is definitely not just a horse.
Well, they also had a sheepacorn too, or a unicorn.
Yeah. Probably it's like something you can put on yourself.
No, it's looks like you can't see the full card, but +5 against half. Oh no, it's a monster. But it's U as in EWE.
Ah.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
It's a sheepacorn.
Yep.
But you gotta appreciate anything that has a narwhal in it.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Narwhals are just awesome.
And interestingly enough, it does seem like they did a different artist for each of the 3 types of things from their collection of artists.
Yeah.
So like the unicorns will have their own unique feel to the cows, to the undead, which is actually an interesting thing, I have to say.
Oh, if you got the promo, you could have got a unicorn.
This falls under the... I don't think they absolutely needed to kickstart this. But fortunately, this ends up being a product that I'm like, it sounds fine. That's the problem. Is like, I don't know if you needed to kickstart it, but it sounds fine.
I just think they're kickstarting way too much.
Kickstarter is like an interesting crutch for a more expensive company. I know, like, there are definitely certain IPs that I've said before that I feel like are more appropriate for Kickstarter. Like when they wanted to do Munchkin's Shakespeare. I'll give you, Shakespeare is one that I don't know if there's as much support for Munchkin. Great, right. Kickstarted, maybe you get people. There are other things like Modifius, I know, does kickstart some things. Like when they kickstarted John Carter of Mars. That was great. I'm like, that's an IP that might not have as much support. Go ahead and kickstart it. It's a way that you can also judge the reception behind an idea almost.
Right, and that's fine. It's just sometimes Steve Jackson, I think, does it to the point of, really?
Yes. Unfortunately, they don't do it for everything, which I'm definitely happy with, but it's just there's a couple of them that end up being like, you didn't probably need to kickstart that one.
Right.
I feel like 50% of their Kickstarters fall completely under that category. And the other 50 are either like, or, yeah, I can see that. Because there's a couple of, like, those, like, you just kind of say to yourself, like, maybe?
Right.
It's strange enough that I feel like that's... If I would have not remembered it was a Kickstarter if you hadn't mentioned it and found that in your searching. Because I found stuff on this directly through Steve Jackson Games' website. And that's one of those things about it. When I don't hear about it being a Kickstarter, my mind was untainted of all that problems. And I'm like, oh, okay, that seems like an interesting thing. Yay. Right. And even with the Kickstarter, I'm not saying, like, it's something that's wrecking my mind. It's just also, like...
It's good and bad at the same time in my mind.
Yeah.
It's good because, okay, if you're a really big fan of Munchkin, you might get a really good deal on this through the Kickstarter.
Yeah, you can get it for a little cheaper, and or you can get a lot of like side products that maybe you like.
Well,
there's a reason why collector's editions of video games actually exist and do well, because people love their junk.
Yeah, well, on the Kickstart, I think it was only $10 to Kickstart, and you got Munchkin Unicorn and Friends.
That's pretty good price, definitely. That's like...
And you got the promo, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is it didn't take a lot for you to be on it.
Yeah, I mean, for the price that it's selling now, because what is it? I said 26? For 26 in the Kickstarter, you got Munchkin Unicorn
27 technically, but yes.
Okay, well, this is the closest one anyway. You got Munchkin Unicorn and Friends mini expansion, Munchkin Spell School, Munchkin Kilometer, Munchkin Loves Shark Baby, Unicorn Helmet promo, and all the stretch goals.
And now the only thing is, like, I think that the box.
Oh, do you want? This was for the mini expansion of it.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same expansion, but they've added in a couple more things to this one that have made it a little bigger. That's why it's the same 73 cards. But they also have, like, the kilometer and the box of holding, which are things that are normally sold separately.
Right, yeah, they were add-ons during the...
So I think that's, like... you're still saving some. Because probably, with the two of those combined, yes, that puts it up towards 27. But it wouldn't have been that much.
I mean, the box of holding was $8 as an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on what... You could have either got it free with your pledge for the kilometer or a $7 add-on. So if you just spent the $10, if you just did the $10 one, but you want the kilometer, it would be $17, which would be only a slightly dollar less. I don't know why you'd do that, because the Protector of Unicorns was $18, and you got the Kilometer, Shark Baby, Unicorn Helmet, and all the stretch goals. Oh, and Munchkin storage boxes. So you got everything for 18.
Yeah, that's the thing.
18, actually.
Which is a good price. That's like, it's more than it would have been. Like, as I said, like, even at the base level, without the kilometer, without the boxes of holding, this would have been $12 if you included those prices from the Kickstarter. You know, that's the difference, $10 to $12. You're still saving money. You would have saved it through the Kickstarter, not a little bit. You know.
Well, and the awesome thing is, like, if you wanted to go all in, there was a $60 pledge. They got you the Unicorn expansion, Munchkin storage boxes, Spell School, Monster Mashup, Munchkin Oz, Munchkin Kilometer, Munchkin Loves Shark Baby, the Unicorn Helmet promo, and all the stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a huge value for 60.
Yeah.
So I would say the plus thing when they do these is you can get a lot for your buck. It's just, some of the stuff is like, did you really need to?
And I think, like, a lot of the stretch goal unlocks were more cards to your set. So I think most of them have ended up in a set, because it's actually a 73 card expansion, which is actually pretty decent for Munchkin. You know, that's the thing, is 73 cards, again, considering that the box of holding, kilometer are both things sold separately for a pretty decent price, you know, and you're getting this for maybe $12 for 73 cards. It's actually not bad for a Munchkin expansion.
No.
So it's because of the Kickstarter, it's as big as it is, maybe, and it's being sold in the way that it is too. I think that's another thing, because they kind of unlocked the want for all those things. The people, you know, it's interesting to say, like, the Kickstarter was both good and unnecessary. And that's a weird thing to say, because it was good because it probably made this more of a actual product than it would have been otherwise, but it really wasn't needed with the kind of support that it got. You know, people love their Munchkins. They could have sold, either all three of these together, or, you know, if they really wanted to, they could have just sold them in small packages, too, technically. Meow.
Right.
Meow. Hey, Damien.
Damien.
Meow. But anyway, that's the thing is, like, sometimes it just becomes very hard think when it comes to these products for Steve Jackson games. And I mean, it looks good. If you're just buying this intrinsically for the fact that it's a good Munchkin product, it looks like a good Munchkin product. And that's as easy as it is. You know, I think I am a little regretful that, you know, you have to buy all 3 components in one box, because, like, for me, I don't really give a flying blob about the kilometer. But I gotta purchase it if I want to get this.
What about a non-flying blob?
I didn't want to, like... I'm trying to reach... Still have 5... almost 6-year-old in the household.
I know. I'm
keep
joking.
Yes, I know. Trying to keep my language in check a little bit. Tiny bit. But... yeah. I don't know. Judge it for yourself, is what I'm going to say. Is if you do not have a kilometer and you're fine with it, and or you need some boxes of holding, because those are always very, very useful, I do have to say, then check it out. And especially because the cards are interesting. It's a weird combination of 3 things, but doesn't mean it's bad. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Munchkin Unicorns and Friends is officially available now. Just came out this month. So. Let's move on. Let's talk some stuff from Z-Man Games, because they have a couple of things that are come out that we want to talk about here. Let's hit the main one here with the one that we were going to talk about last week but didn't. Party Bugs. Again, though I feel like we did talk a little bit about this when they announced it, so I can't say like we can dive too in depth about the game itself.
Those bugs be partying, man.
They might be doing crazy stuff at that party. Crazy bug stuff.
Oh yeah. Everybody's into some crazy bug stuff.
I thought you were going to say everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting!
Da 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 da.
Their fists were as fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. Anyway.
So, Z-Man Games has officially put it out then, finally. Oh, jeez. Dropping stuff. It's for 2 to 6 players. You can get it through their site. It's $15. It's only supposed to be playing 15 minutes. There's like a disco ball, and everybody's on the dance floor. I don't think we talked about it as much as this. I think, like, maybe this was another one of those ones that was on the docket, but then I got rid of. Because it's sort of like, it seems familiar, but maybe not as familiar. You know, it's you're kind of roaches, I guess, that are being played out there as the cards. So they're like an unwanted guest on the disco floor. And as the more cockroaches show up, you're trying to send the biggest pests to your neighbors to keep the wild party going for them, and take your smaller ones for yourself. So it's all about having smaller numbers. You can pair up the cockroaches in the same costumes to send them home in embarrassment. Smallest party wins. Pretty simple that. Like, you know. They don't have the rules up on their site right now for exact. Like, it's... Things get played out. It's all about numbers. You know, it's all about movement around the board. Things like that.
And it's all about dancing.
I was going to say, was it all about that bass? Because, I mean, for a second there, it sounded like it might have been.
It's all about my face.
Mm-hmm. Each player has a set of 13 cards with costume bugs. The individual decks are shuffled. They take a hand of 3. It's over the course of 13 rounds. And players try to push the biggest, most annoying bugs over their neighbors while taking less diminutive ones for themselves. You place the card to face down. You're flipped up simultaneously. And then the player who played the lowest value will select a blood on the dance floor to join their party. Okay, so like if I played a 3, I could choose any of the bugs on the dance floor to join my party. And then it kind of goes in order that way. If you choose the lowest number or take the highest number costume that matches, like choosing the same one, you want that because it gets rid of them. Choosing low numbers because it's strategically getting like low numbers. So it's kind of interesting that way.
Right.
So yeah, neat. So 13 cards, 13 rounds. I mean, it's like you're going to play your hand out. It's a strategy kind of game. It's all about, because you're going to end up theoretically each with 13 bugs. So at some point in time, you're going to play the 13. I think they're numbered probably 1 to 13. And so it's like all about a strategy of when to play that kind of thing too. But it's also drawing it to your hand because you have a deck that you only have 3 cards at a time. So you only have 3 cards to choose from each turn. So I think there's a couple of layers that make this a little more dynamic for the playment selecting kind of mechanic to everything. So it's a relatively simple game, but it's interesting that way. It's like number matching, betting, strategy game. I guess that describes it pretty well.
Yes.
I think that's one of those things is sometimes it just takes like a simple little game to do well and be interesting. And it's only $15, so it's not bad for something as simple as that. And it's a quick game, too. Yep. I'm guessing there are, let's do some quick math, 78 cards in this box. I'm sorry, there's 80 cards.
I was going to say 78 would be an odd number.
It would be the correct number of cards for 6 players to each have a deck of 13.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Like, sure.
And then, of course, you have the disco ball and the rule sheet. So, I mean, it's not like there's, like, an insane... I'm curious what the extra 2 cards are, though. Curious. Because, if you're 6 players and each have a deck of 13, then, 78's the correct number. Like, Munchkin has odd numbers on their boxes and stuff. Like, the Munchkin we were talking about had, 73 cards. So I don't see why 78's not a problem. It doesn't have to be even every time. You evenist?
Yes, I am. You got a problem with that?
I don't know. I was just, saying you were an evenist. I was making a comment about your political affiliation with the evenist party. I'm making this out to be weirder than it needs to be, so let's move on. Party bucks. I don't know. You want to say anything about it, Joe, or add anything about the conversation with this one?
Looks interesting. Check it out.
Yeah. Check it out for yourself and see if you want to actually play the weird cockroach game. They're roaches. I mean, it's like you can't really deny that that's what they're supposed to be. Just saying. Oh my god. So, let's go on to the last main topic we have for today. I'm going to continue to butcher this game's name because I've done it every time I've tried to pronounce it. Noctiluca. Noctiluca. Noctiluca!
Also known as Bob.
I feel it could be like some kind of like giant monster or supervillain or giant robot. Oh no! Noctiluca is attacking! Quick! We must summon Godzilla to save us!
Oh no.
I was wondering if you could actually respond to that one there. It's okay that you did it. Damn it, the double clicking. Damn it, the double clicking.
Not Noctiluca, the mighty monkey.
Nocticla, do. So, anyway, dive through the sea to catch the embers of the sea. Dive into the water. It's interesting. Yes. You must choose your path before diving into the water, collect mysterious glowing creatures. It's got a double-sided board. Up to 4 players compete against each other, or 1 player can rescue the Noctiluca from the Tempest in the included solo mode. So you could play on your own, just trying to, like, I guess, rescue them in a certain way, you know? So it's basically the little, like, glowing creatures are the Noctiluca. And it...
Green, yellow, blue, and purple.
Yes.
Although the dice and on the cards it looks orange.
Mm-hmm.
But on the one card, on the card that shows you the colors of them, it looks yellow. So,
oh my god, it has 104 colorful dice.
That's a lot of 6-sided dice.
Yes. They represent the glowing Noctiluca. And you take turns diving in the water to collect Noctiluca dice from the board and keep them safely in a jar until you deliver them to healers. Because I guess these things have healing properties or something. Look, I'm not trying to dive into the story of the game because that's for you guys to determine if you actually care about that. The story was only half of the thing. And then you have 2 rounds that player will compare their points, and success determines the player that the most points wins. So it's very quick because it's only 2 rounds of kind of diving and collecting.
Right.
Ooh.
That is a short game.
Yeah.
And it'll be about $35, which isn't bad for 101 dice.
It really actually isn't. $35 for the number of dice they have. Ew. Apparently there's like 4 types of Noctiluca that you have to collect, and that's why their different colors are representing them. And it looks as though you have specific, like, jars to fill too sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
it
like,
looks like there's like certain ones you want to collect. Maybe it's like for bonus points or something.
I think so, because it's supposed to be like you're gathering these for the healers, and maybe the healer needs this type for
like
their...
certain potions.
Yeah. Look, little glowing.
This one cures warts.
look, little glowing jellyfish monsters. We are going to, like, you know, puree you into, like, magic potion to heal people, so don't worry about it.
We're rescuing you.
It's, I mean, there's a level of, like, you consider you're collecting them for healers. Those things aren't living through that.
No. Unless you're using them like a leech.
I get the feeling that, you know, they're probably going to be cooked and or pureed together.
Or both.
Yeah. Cooked up and then pureed together. But since you might be, like, old-timey, it's probably, like, some kind of, like, hand grind. It's like, you know, you're hand grinding Noctiluca, you know?
Just like Mama used to make.
Getting glowing powder all over the place. God.
Just like Mama used to make.
I've officially gone, like, awful direction with this game.
Now we're horrible, horrible murderers.
Of tiny little creatures.
Thanks, Shem.
I mean, maybe you're supposed
created by Shem Phillips.
Maybe you're not murdering them. I don't know. It's hard to tell because we haven't found enough information about them.
Yes. I do actually want to jump back for 1 second and point something I thought odd out.
Sure.
With the Party Bugs one. Was I found it originally on Board Game Geek, which had a different company's name. So I'm wondering if they bought the game from them. Because at Board Game Geek, it says it's by Abacus Spiel.
Okay. Or Abacus Spiel.
And then on the Z-Man Games site, it says Z-Man Games, where it said Abacus
Spiel. I understand it, Abacus Spiel's a German company.
Okay, so it's a German game, and they're bringing it out in the U.S.
Yes. The thing is, it's very hard to tell when this occurs, because we only know, like, the big companies here. There's a very few European companies where we know they would do both. Like, Modifius is very European. They could do multiple languages if they really wanted to, because they are very set in Europe.
Right.
But, like, something
so they
like...
probably partnered with Abacus Spiel and said, hey, we'll release it in America for you.
Yes. Because it does say Abacus Spiel and 3 more, which includes Z-Man Games.
Okay, yeah. Now that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just was like,
Yeah. And it looks like, I have no idea what language that one is, but the other companies look to be, at least one of them's Netherlands, and the other is another European country, which I can't tell what it is. Like, White Goblin Games is one of them, but they are very... what the hell is the language of Netherlands called? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I want to say Norse or Dutch. That makes sense.
Because they are the Dutch.
They have a gold member.
Because it's for some reason I was thinking because it's Denmark's there, but that's they speak Danish there.
Yeah.
Raspberry?
No. Sorry.
Look, it's again, like sometimes you just don't remember these things. If we were not, like Dutch should have been so obvious.
As soon as you said Dutch, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, oh yeah, duh. This was my thought pattern too.
If you ain't Dutch, you ain't much.
Shouldn't you say that when you have a character named Dutch? Because there's been a couple of them. Because I don't know if
that was also my family's Pennsylvania Dutch, and we had stuff that it said that I had a rule that said if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much.
That is still not correct, though, and they should correct themselves. It's Pennsylvania Deutsch. It's really what it is. They were Germans. Not people from Netherlands.
I know. I'm just saying what
their descendants have gone stupid. Fix yourselves. I'm sorry. Yes, it got bastardized by non-Germanic people years and years ago. Don't encourage them.
I encourage everything. I even encourage your discouragement.
Oh, well, okay then. I don't know that one.
And then I re-encourage your discouragement.
Yeah. So it is a 1 to 4 player game. It's supposed to play 30 minutes. You will get more than one bottle to fill. It's just like you will be dealt out a number of bottles at least, and you're just trying to get them filled up correctly. And it's all about moving onto the board in an order and collecting stuff from things like that. So there's a lot of strategy in collecting Noctiluca. Yep. So, yes. And having when worrying about others that might try to, take all yours. The bastards. That was my purple, not your purple, you jerk.
All your purples belong to me.
As those healers horribly murder the tiny glowing creatures for their healing properties. I mean, yes. I just can't not picture them in like hand grinder or something. It's like I'm an awful person as of right now.
Only as of right now?
I mean, I'm not always an awful person. I'm mostly an awful person. Mostly. Let's move on, though. There's not a lot of topics this week. Let's move on to our regular segments, because we could talk about a few things under our regular segments. let's talk deeper discussion. We had a chance to test out a little bit of a game. I don't think we played it quite like you're supposed to. You know, I think is the best way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
We were.
What, Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby, combat ready. We got a chance to try it out. I mean, it was fun. I don't know how much everyone else liked it because, again, it required a level of rules that weren't too complex, but it's kind of like once you could dive into it, you kind of learn it. And we were playing we were doing very simplified. You actually have to dive into their battle mode and campaign mode almost a little bit for a full session of the gameplay, and then to work out everything that's going on. And I think we were getting a lot of lucky draws and kind of things like that, too. And weren't worrying about a lot of the deeper strategy that might be involved in it. And I don't think we understood it to a degree, too, anyway. Our luck was just going well, is the best way to say it.
Yes.
It was a fun little game. Definitely would like to try it out more. Find a team that might be a little better for it, I could say. Because, I mean, it is up to 5 people, but I'm not sure how much 2 of our people were into it. You know, like you, me, and Blaze were a lot better, I think. But not to say that the other 2 might not have enjoyed it a little bit, but I don't think as much as, we could. I'm just saying. Just saying. So I think once we get an opportunity to try it out some more at some point, I think we can give a better assessment of it. But just know that we've been trying it out, and that is the next one of the games that is on our kind of agenda to speak about here in this one once we can test it out more. All right. Why don't we talk about our week in tabletop?
Well, there was Ruby.
Well, that was on
Yes, I know.
New Year's Day.
That was true.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that was this week.
True that. What did we do on Saturday?
Saturday
I know we did both days. We did some super fight.
We did some super fight. Yeah, both days.
And the super fight ended up being quite fun because we played it very much so not like they wanted, but we didn't really care.
Oh, we just had fun with it.
We just had fun with it. We never competed for points. We did the Battle Royale mode. Their rules for it, but we had no one judge who won. We were just like, it doesn't matter who wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It didn't matter who won. Not at all.
Trying to think. And did we play anything else on Saturday?
Oh, Saturday we might have done something before Super Fight. I think we did something a little larger, and then we did Super Fight afterwards. Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't we do Up expansion? Did we do
that
yes,
then? We tried the Up expansion for Lords of Vegas, which the only thing that we really used on it was the extra players. Because you get 2 extra players with the Up expansion. We did not use any of the risers because they're really expensive.
I think the thing is, because the game always ends at the same point in time, you have to consider we were playing with the maximum number of players. The more people you play with, the less times you have a turn, the less you're going to earn, the less that you are actually going to build, personally. The less opportunities you personally have to build risers.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it could come to a point in time where it's cheaper and more effective for you to build up than it is to sprawl over to your neighbor. Because the cheapest sprawl is still like 12 million for one of the 6 million spaces. And that is the cheapest one. The most expensive are like 40. It is expensive to sprawl and kind of control that way. So building up is not necessarily a bad idea.
No.
It's another way of getting points. And I think if we had I think we played in a circumstance that pertains to it least. If we were playing a 4-player game or a 3-player game, I think there would have been opportunities actually to use them. Because, again, it's the same amount of cards, the same amount of turns that we all go through before the end game comes up. Regardless, it's just that, once you're dividing that number of cards by 3, you get twice as many turns as if you had, divided it by, English. 6.
Right.
Brain just broke there for a second. Again, you have the same amount of chance of earning money, but in a game where you have to spend money to earn money, more opportunities to spend money are good kind of things, so. What did we do anything else?
No, I think
Sundays at Tabletop.
I played some more Magic. Oh, yeah.
We did Flashpoint, did we not?
Yes, we did do Flashpoint. You are correct there.
Yes. So, Flashpoint, it was fun. It was good. We succeeded. We got really lucky, so we just succeeded, quickly and efficiently. There was no, long delays. We streamlined everything and just got through very quickly.
Yes.
So it was definitely fun. And the other thing I did D&D. I did Madness Land. It went well, in quotations. I can note that I was very tired by the end of that, and the players were going into a direction that I wasn't expecting them to go, so I was kind of half panicking and ended us a couple minutes early. But the thing is, after I had a chance to sit down and think, I'm like, timeline! Because there's a bunch of events they're supposed to do, and they're pretty much jumping the shark, but if I do the timeline right, they don't find crap anyway, It's like, oh, timeline. The event that they would find if they went over here hasn't occurred yet. An event that happened in storyline hasn't occurred yet. So they can't find anything because the background story hasn't occurred yet, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It's little things like that I think sometimes you just sit and think about, and that's why, again, I ended it right when I did, but it was like, ugh. You almost caught me, you guys. You almost caught me.
You almost caught him monologuing.
I mean, you might catch me monologuing anyway. So. Let's see here. I think that's it for the, weekend stuff.
Yes. I believe so.
So, let's move on to our other regular story, Kickstarter Korner. Hey, Joe, did you find a Kickstarter that you wanted to talk about?
Give me 1 second.
Get everything. Yeah. No, I would never give you a second. Why would I do that? I'm cruel and evil and malicious and mwah ha ha.
Well, that is true, but that's beside the point.
Also, mwah, ha ha ha.
I found the last heist. I'm sorry. I can tweet today.
Who needs to speak? You can just put out your tongue and go blah 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 blah.
Which is a card game, which you're doing a heist, and then making a deal between each other to try to see who gets what.
Okay.
Basic artwork on it.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like an interesting game. It's 3 to 6 players, 15 to 50 minutes though.
So it's got a wide variety. It might be the more players you have, the longer it takes. It might be one of those.
That's what I'm thinking, and also the fact that there's deals to be made and stuff. I think that depends on it too. Like how long it takes you guys to make the deals that you're trying to figure out.
Okay.
So there's the heist. Each criminal takes a turn, and as many cards as you want, you can now be placed in your from your hand onto the stockpile. Cards you do not want can be placed directly in the disarm patch. This card must go right away in front of you. Oh, the only exception is the police card. This card has to go away in front of you and draw again. You now draw until you reach 5 cards. And then once every player has this turn, the heist is over. Then there's the deal. All players deal now the same time with everyone they like. Players with missing items should try anything to get them to avoid being caught and handcuffed.
Okay.
So it seems like, kind of a base in easy game. The game ends when the last player is still on the round is declared as the winner. Oh, end of heist. After each round, the player must discard one every heist card, money, mask, gun. For every item that's missing, the player loses a handcuff card. Okay. For every police officer left in front of the player, that player loses one handcuff card. A handcuff card is a life.
All right. Interesting.
So it seems like an interesting little game. It has 19 backers. They're only at $292 out of an $11,395 goal, and there's 14 days left to go on it.
So it's not gotten a lot of hype as of yet, but you never know if that could change, and maybe our shout out here could help push them forward. So
yes. So if this seems like something that you guys want to try out, support them and see if they can get some good stuff out of this.
Okay. For myself, I wanted to talk a little bit about a expansion to an RPG. I'm not even sure. I might have talked about it on the show before, but I can't remember if I talked about this one or a different one. The Esoterica Occult Mystery RPG. It had been a Kickstarter last summer, and they have a new Kickstarter out that is actually already funded. They had a very tiny goal. They only had $636 for a goal, so I'm thinking it was more like some production costs and stuff like that they had to have, like probably art costs they were covering. They've reached 1,700. It's 24 days to go. This is going to be, it's for the Esoterica game, but it's a book of plot hooks and encyclopedic entries on stuff that's happening there. And it's made to also work with other kind of modern occult role-playing games. So it is compatible with those others to ensure that you can kind of work with this. It is a mystic game, but it is also like a modern day game where adepts are the big main thing of it, where people that understand that the world's not just as mundane as it is. Right. And it's a book of secrets, as best you can say about it. It's if you want a lot of plot hooks, want to know about some kind of weird and crazy stuff you can use in your game, things like that. And again, as they said, if you're just doing a modern game and want to bring in a little bit of occult, you can always use some of these ideas in your things there too. And this is about finalizing their PDF and get some things printed out. That's the big prices that they are going for. You do have to pay for shipping if you get physical copies of things. That's the only thing that you would want to say. $7 gets you the PDF copy, or $9 because it's is the little L thing pounds. God damn it.
Yes.
Yes. Foreign currency. You foil me every time. Plus, if you do contribute to it, you can contribute something to one of the entries there, like suggestions and stuff. They'll work with you about it. You can also get print copies. They're not I guess they're not creating a huge amount of print copies. You can get for $22. You can also get the core game and this one. So you can still get the core game through here. And you could get, and like this is getting like print stuff you can do too. You start getting into there. So, I mean, the fact is they got their funding pretty quickly because they wanted to have enough, and I guess it's enough people were interested in it to get it very rapidly also. And I actually like supplements like this, little supplements that give you like plot hooks and stuff. Those are always fun because even if you don't use them, they can give you inspiration into like the kind of adventures that the creators of a game feel like you should go on. And I think that's one of those things is as much as it's fun to create your own wildly vast different thing, sometimes you want like a starting point. And if you don't get inspiration, you don't have a starting point. You need something to inspire you. But here you go. It's inspiration that's particularly pointed towards this game. So, check it out. Support it if you want. Links in the description and in chat. So, why don't we then move on? Because we talked about our Kickstarter Korner. We did that out of order. We should have done Kickstarter Korner, Our Week in Tabletop, but my brain's fried this week a little bit.
Not a huge deal.
I'm finally beginning to recover from, like, holiday brain melting. Anyway, consult the table. If you in chat, on watching this on the YouTube side, checking this out, wherever you're seeing it, have a question of any kind for us, you can contact me on my Discord directly or indirectly. You can either go into my Discord, contact me through Discord. You'd have to find me through my Discord, which links in the description. You can put it in chat here at any time during one of the shows. You can leave in the description of the YouTube video. You can email us at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. Any of these ways, if you want to communicate with us about anything, pretty much. Mostly we will answer, of course, tabletop-related questions from RPGs, CCGs, to just board games and card games. If you have some kind of question, asking for advice, anything like that, you can inquire with us. But if it ends up something in the nerdy world, we have enough tangents that we're pretty nerdy folks here that you can run into us about. So that can be included.
Yep.
Anyway, so I think that's it for today. It was a fun episode. I was glad to continue my discussion with you, Joe, as usual. As I said before, we'll probably be back next week, definitely. We'll be back tomorrow for Sundays at the Tabletop. That's on the schedule. I'll be back for Legacies of Kain and Madison Lands, Vampire the Masquerade, and D&D, respectively, on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and then 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Expect some more stuff and changes and things going on. And keep apprised of this channel because there should be more stuff coming out on YouTube, and there should be a new sort of schedule on Twitch. So this show's not affected by that schedule change. Most of the tabletop stuff unaffected. It's just some of the other content that I'm putting out will be affected by that. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me as usual, Joe.
Yep, always.
Yep.
See everyone tomorrow for Sundays at the Tabletop.
Yep, that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could join us and a couple others, friends, as we play some tabletop games here on the channel. But until then, though, have a good one, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.